Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the finest Dawn of War Ultimate Apocalypse cast this side of East Yorkshire. And today we've got a 1 vs 1 on Tranquility's End. On the northern side, as the Imperial Guard, we've got the TheBlastFurnace. On Power's other side, as the Tyranids, we've got Roman 228. Roman will be opening with a couple of spine gaunts, a couple of reclamation chambers, and a gestation pool. Whereas the TheBlastFurnace is going to go for triple Imperial conscripts, a commissar, infantry command, and a plasma generator. So very exciting stuff, boys and girls. Imperial Guard versus Tyranid is definitely thematically one of my more favourite kind of matches. Oh, we've also gone for a Brood Hive as well. That's fun. I'm not going to redo the introduction now. I've committed, baby. And I ain't going to go backwards. Let's see, a Ravener and a Lictor as well. Do quite like the Lictor, considering that the Imperial Guard rely on lots of little mini-heroes, and Lictors are very good at smashing them up into close combat. But yeah, so it's just basically the boys versus bugs. What's not to love about it? Just singular, regular men with naught but the finest equipment that the Imperial could buy on a budget up against the horrors from the galactic edge and such. So yeah, very nice stuff. And I do apologise for not uploading the videos for a couple of days. I've been really, really poorly. I'm absolutely convinced it was something COVID related, just because I've basically been in bed playing on the Steam Deck, unable to really lift a limb other than, you know, pulling that screen to my face for a little while. That's fine, I'm alive, I'm here, I'm ready to cast a game like no man's business. At the moment, we are seeing some spy gaunts from Roman 228 go up against the Imperial Guard, and the Tyranids are really interesting in Ultimate Apocalypse, mainly because in the early game, they get quite a lot of these wee spine gaunts out, remarkably cheap at 6 blue to reinforce, also very quick to reinforce as well. And so you quite often see a Tyranid player opening with a swarm of little uns, and then gradually transition to bigger ones as the game goes on. So very nice stuff. Thankfully though, the Imperial conscripts, they are a little bit in fact, are you cheaper? No, you are the same cost. One Imperial conscript is the same cost as a spine gaunt. I believe that the spine gaunts are significantly better in close combat than those guys. So the Raveners killing these fully qualified guardsmen remarkably quickly as well. And the Lictor going out and about, killing the... Oh, I see, because not only are good against killing commander units like the Commissar, but also the Builders are commanders as well, so you're going to come over and disrupt the supply lines, as it were, while the Raveners just have a free meal around everyone, going around the flanks while knocking everyone over. It's just, like I say, the boys trying their best. My goodness, my gracious, the size of them in comparison. This lad ain't going to be seeing Cadia anytime soon. Assuming that this game is, you know... I mean, I suppose Dawn of War, this version was invented back before Cadia fell. So, spoilers by the by, if you're not familiar with the lore, but that's the thing that happened. It feels like it only happened a couple of years ago, but I'm not sure if it was just a recent thing or happened many, many years ago. I still think Slipknot Psychosocial, the album, came out only the other day. But no, that's going to make you feel old if you Google that. Mind you though, one thing that the Imperial Guard have in absolute spades is their defensive capabilities. Hiding inside their infantry command. Also got the reconnaissance team being summoned forth by the general, throwing some bombs around. Commissar is in there. He's just a man more than many. Couple of chads engaging in close combat, while a bunch of guys hide in the pillory boxes and open fire every which way that they can. Raveners fall down pretty fast, but the Lictor preventing any listing posts being built up at the moment. And while the guardsmen can hold inside their base, 2 listing posts, the vast majority of the map control in favour of the Tyranids, but the Imperial Guard have managed to sally forth and capture at least a small amount of stuff. Over on this, I got Vectori Broodlord, which is significantly larger than your regular old Broodlord. Look at the brains on that kid. A big thinker. The listing post will be cancelled as the Tech Priest Agency has been sent to Valhalla. Lots of very brave conscripts there coming to the defence of the general, as the boys in green, ever so mean, managed to kill the little broodlings round here. So okay, so quite an aggressive start from the Tyranids, but the Imperial Guard do seem to have held off on their own, maybe pushing a little bit too far with those Raveners inside the base. The moment those guardsmen were inside the infantry command, they could have basically gone back home. Now going into tier 1/2. And that general is doing what he can, but that Broodlord is significantly beefier in close combat. Got the defensive capabilities of the listing poster, so he will fall back into safer ground. Now the guardsmen not wanting to spend a moment too long on the back foot means to bring it to the Tyranids as best they can. And yeah, okay, like I said earlier on, Tyranids, as the game goes on, they get bigger and better stuff. Ooh, using their global abilities to bring some big green stuff, which is less than favourable from the perspective of the Imperial Guardsmen. Definitely want to be standing far, far away from that, as that is general damage and badness to everyone within that vicinity. Raveners now going to split the fighting forces into a couple of different segments. Northern Raveners absolutely determined to kill the reconnaissance team, but these guys are absolutely just holding on their own here. They decide to attack some of the economy instead, which I think is the wise choice to make, really. But the Tyranids, one thing that they lack in tier 0/1 or whatever, is some building bashing. And they can get their rending claws and such, but I don't think that helps them too much in building bashing. They're kind of going to wait for tier 2 before they get anything substantial. Because a Lictor Alpha and also some feeder tendrils and adrenal glands, able to really ramp up their infantry strength with all their individual upgrades. Victory Broodlord out on his own, but more sadness in the form of green goop. That won't stop these guys, not at all. Oh, they're just going to point. Yeah, okay. Don't fall back from it, just take it. Endure the green. You'll manage, says the Commissar. General also inspiring the men in his own way, shape or form. Got a bioplasma turret. Remarkably good AoE damage in the form of a turret. Got Lictor Alpha moving around the flanks. Jumping inside. It's now been discontinued on the tabletop, if memory serves. Now been replaced by a Death Leaper and Neuro Lictors and such. But such is the wicked way of the the Tyranids, always evolving into new forms and also providing Games Workshop more opportunities to make Tyranid players spend more money. I'm not bitter about it. No, I've had to rebuild some of my Tyranid army over the years. That was before reselling it, before I went to South Korea. Now I'm going to rebuy it all over again. Well, there will be a local tournament soon. I do fully plan to take part of it. Anyway, the boys over here, they're going to get a decap. Pretty good for them. And the Tyranids generally want to get that map control for as long as humanly possible, especially against the Imperial Guard. These guys will really skyrocket out of hand very quickly when the mechanized commands and the Mars pattern commands get going. Once that's getting to Lehman Rust stage and basilisks and all that nonsense, Tyranids are going to have a bit of a difficulty. Are we seeing... There we go, we've got a Screamer Killer Carnifex out and about. That's just one Tyranid. At the moment there's no anti-vehicle stuff, but the guardsmen are quite flexible and can get those melter guns out if they so wish. Lictor Alpha jumps in, but kind of misses everyone. Screamer Killer gives out a big old scream. Well broken across the board. Although Ravenous focusing on the conscripts, I don't think... I think it's a bit of a red herring going for those conscripts. So many mines as well, good lord. Friend and foe alike. Being blown up to smithereens. It's a thing of glory. The standard bearer holding the flag on high, but for how much longer? He's going to walk through his own explosiveness. There we are, the big guns scaring away the boys, allowing that Screamer Killer to start finally opening up the listing post. Will be on its self-build or self-repair a little while. Quite expensive ability to use, but if you can keep the force of Tyranids back for a little while, that'll pay dividends in the long run. There's Commissar cadets and a regular Commissar. Just look at the size of him in comparison to the regular lads. Not sure if it's the size of his shoes. That's just how it works. Is the bus still up? And here come the Chimera assault tanks. Like a regular Chimera, but with a bit more punch to it. Got more weapons, but less carrying capacity. And more of those guys will be coming out. So Tyranids, I assume, zone throat ball. That would be my thinkings. Or is it a warrior ball now? Is that the meta? Got triple screamer killers for the front lines. Raveners to tie up any of the anti-vehicle stuff. We've got a big jump in. One screamer will chase away the Chimera. As this Imperial Guard squad has been utterly surrounded and hounded by the Raveners. Can also eat men to increase their overall health, which is pretty useful. And plenty of floor lasagna for them to munch on. While they're making this push, the Imperial Guardsmen, with those Commissar cadets, just keen to push right on in. Although, dear oh dear, the Warriors, with their death spitters. I mean, they look like grenade launchers, but I promise you they're not. Yeah, quite a lot of damage being thrown their way, but the Commissar cadets, having elite infantry armour, should be able to withstand that damage. It's quite risky, the Imperial Guard assaulting the Tyranid base, knowing full well that they've got so much damage incoming for them. That Lictor Alpha. You normally see Lictors of all variants being killed quite early in the game and not really used throughout the entire game, but he just came in and decided to kill that general. It's like, screw you in particular. Good lord, that Screamer Killer was just keen on that Chimera. It's not giving up on the assault. So a bit of a quasi-base trade going on. Listing post is down. The Warriors don't think... Yeah, okay, so you've not gone for your... And now you're going to go for some Rending Claws, which should help you in close combat against the Commissar cadets. I just don't know if it's going to be enough. It's certainly going to be a struggle inside the base at the moment. We'll see another Commissar cadet squad coming out. Extra armour and weapon training for the infantry as the Chimera assault tanks are falling down one by one to the Screamer Killers. The Commissar's men having to hide inside listing post for the moment. And what do you do in this scenario? Well, that's one killer count effects down. There's just so much assaulting going on across the base at the moment. Ideally, the Guardsmen probably want to form some sort of concentrated fire towards individual targets. Now starting to get those melter guns out. That should hopefully ameliorate the situation as it stands, but there's so much going on. Students could do with also taking out this listening post. Be free of fear, men, they say. As they themselves have had morale broken for a limited amount of time. Quick look at the economies, 138 and 64, compared to 137 and 60, so remarkably even, all things considered. Even though Tyranids are running amok, the map control is relatively even, and the listing posts are still standing. So that is a thing. And the Chimera tanks continue to be rustled up. These tank traps as well doing quite a good job at preventing the Tyranids from getting a good surround on the listing posts. Kind of what these plasma generators are doing at the moment. That's pretty good for them. One Carnifex takes on the strategic point. Commissar cadets coming back over. It just seems that no matter where you look at on the map at the moment, there's some sort of Carnifex lumbering around. Got the decap on the strategic point. Here is a Primaris Psyker, able to get a whole smorgasbord of priests inside their ranks. And some warrior squads have gone for Rending Claws, others have just gone for their, what they're called, the Death Spitters. So nice mix. One scream from the Carnifexes breaks morale across the board. Commissars to get closer to everyone just to keep them all inspired. More goop being brought in. Is Victory Broodlord in there? Yes, he is. Oh, so is that not a Hive Mind ability? Is that a Broodlord ability? Hard to tell, really. It's a shame that I can't click on this little icon and it shows me all their abilities, what are on cooldown or not. Don't know if that's possible from a replay perspective. Good lord, though. The Vexoid Broodlord goes down, which means anyone with Synapse has got the morale damaged a bit, but thankfully the Warriors are always connected to the Hive Mind. So not a problem for them. And it's a bit of a mosh pit at the moment. Tyranids don't really have the DPS to mash their way through the... Good lord, Commissars just can't... I'm going to have to zoom out for a bit just so I can hear myself think for a brief moment. But, yeah, they don't quite have the killing power necessary. Yeah, okay, in melee combat there's a lot of damage incoming, but the Imperial Guardsmen can always just run away. So need more ranged fire support to be able to get the killing blow. And they've got another Lictor Alpha coming out, but that's more melee combat. The Tyranids don't exactly have a wild roster of ranged damage. I mean, maybe if they get a Buy of Oz, artillery support always good. It would require the Imperial Guard to stand still though for it to really have the maximum damage output. Chimera's dead there. Suppose that if they keep enough Imperial Guardsmen on the move, that does allow some of their fighting forces just to focus on the economy. That's what these Warriors are doing, while the Screamer Killer is nom-nomming its way through the plasma generators. The Warriors are keeping them at bay. Over here we've got some Warriors chewing their way through a listing post. Tech Priest, and you see a couple of them. So, okay, well, we'll build some mines near you. Can't kill you, but we can at least cause you a bit of a minor inconvenience. It seems like the Imperial Guard, they've now taken a fair chunk of damage to their economy. They are not giving up on the critical locations. All their side objectives. With a lack of anti-vehicle once again, the Commissar Cadets, while they're quite beefy and don't die, not exactly killing these things neither. Stick post over here been taken down. We have got tier 2/3 almost 50% of the way. Although they're going to be very slow at being researched, considering that there's no plasma generators near the field command to decrease the overall time it takes to research it. Looks like TheBlastFurnace is committed to putting his plasma generators near the listing post just to increase their overall blue money output, maximising his requisition intake, the minimal amount of listing posts possible. All the mines have now been exploded, but the Warriors, only 3 of them left, 4 of them now actually. Jumping around, kicking this poor Tech Priest Agency right in the face. What a cracking defence all the way. Should have lost a lot of men, but plenty more men where they came from. They're not exactly the most expensive people, are they? Even the Commissar Cadets, I mean, what do you reinforce at? You reinforce at 55 and 15, which, for what you're paying for, actually, it's not a bad trade in resources. Especially considering that they've managed to keep a good chunk of their economy alive at the moment. What's going on inside the base? The Tyranids got the Primaris Psyker and a... well, there was a Chimera, there's now no longer a Chimera. They're charging in, and as we all know, priests, one thing they're very good at is smacking down buildings for whatever reason. Not sure why that's just a universal across all mods, but it is. It do be like that, I'm afraid. And with their ability to also increase the health regen of everyone nearby, very hard to take down a Primaris Psyker unit. Although it seems like they have lost their Primaris Psyker, which is a bit of a problem. But that's okay, they'll just keep on keeping on. Doing what they can. Spore Chimney been cracked open. And apparently, I've got it on good authority that the Commissar Cadets don't want to suffer these dudes and dudettes to live. Still keep on attacking them while shouting at them, apparently. That's my one recommendation for the next update for Ultimate Apocalypse. If the Commissar Cadets could just be a little bit less passionate. Just I don't know, a reduction of 50% passion maybe, that'd be pretty darn useful from a casting perspective. The assault continues again, and Roman Tutoré has decided, well, the Screamer Killer Carnifexes and Warrior combo was just so good, why not try it again? Except for just with less of them. Which I don't think that's going to pay him any good stuff, because Imperial Guard are just massing and increasing in strength with every time they attack up. Got Lictor Alpha moseying on somewhere. But where were you? You are there! Got the speed on that lad. And there's a very tasty Primaris Psyche he probably wants to chew down upon. Running as fast as he can. He's just a tall lad, isn't he? Tall drink of water, as they say. One thing I like about the Lictor Alpha is that his attacks don't do any knockback. So he's just able just to really just slap someone down ASAP. There's no knocking someone over and then having to chase after their loose corpse. Jumping animation's a bit jerky, but whatever, that's fine. Well, he's dead. Not even killing the heroes anymore. Killing regular men. But I suppose from the Emperor's perspective, each one of these individuals is a real hero in the ranks of the Commissariat. Speaking of the Commissars, they're still in the base. Now got some Gene Sealers there. Although I don't know if they've got the metal to really take on the Commissars. I mean, they're not amazing at this stage of the game. They need a lot more upgrades to become really effective. But you know what? Roman's going to get some more. He'll get some more on a Tyrant Guard as well. Remarkably tanky individuals. I suppose they don't really need to have a major defense, just as long as they can keep their economy online and keep these things going. The Screamer Killer Carnifexes take barely any damage. Warriors, as long as they can keep on reinforcing them, which with 154 blue money income, should be able to do so. Well, there's the first Lehman Russ, which spells potential doom and danger for the Tyranids. But they are just ripping their way through the economic hub that was surrounding this relic. They've gone down. Where's Lictor Alpha? He's came back home. He wants to stab at these people. There's a Tyrant Guard. A chunk on that boy. Powerful shoulders. He could carry shopping in one go. Why is it that when you carry your shopping in plastic bags, it's like infinitely heavier than anything else in the entire world? That's my question, boys and girls at home. Is there a psychological aspect to it? Is it something about the plastic? I don't know about you, but it's just something that I've always struggled with. Carry all sorts on my back, but put in a plastic bag and ask me to carry it from the car back home. Ugh. Terrible stuff. Now where the Commissar Cadets, they're on the way back home. Seem to be quite keen on punching the Lictor Alpha. And he's quite glass cannon, is that kid. He's not one to be on the receiving end of a slapping. Tyrant Guard goes toe-to-toe with a Lehman Russ. And the Commissar Cadets are going to get in there with their power fists. Seems that the Tyranids are now transitioning over to exclusively big bad units rather than a swarm of Tyranid warriors to supplement their ranks, which are off of low on health at the moment. And the economy for the Tyranids has actually gone a bit by the wayside here. Maybe now is not the time to go on the offensive, or maybe just hold back and regain your economy, but that does not look like it's going to be the case. Gene Sealers are now replacing the Tyranid warriors as the unit of choice for Roman 228. Yeah, I don't think playing the assault game It's now the way you want it to be. Economy is 1 4. What? Wait, calm down. What do you want your economy to be? Roman 228. What's affecting this economy at the moment? Is it people eating things? I don't know. Either way, that's the economy, whatever it wants to be. And then this is the economy for the Imperial Guard. So actually, it's not that different. Gene Stealer's also munching on the corpses to increase their overall health. And a slight moment of reprieve from the Commissar cadets' incessant wailings. Run away! Be free! You have the numbers! Gene Stealers. And slapping down a couple of reclamation pools. More screamers on the way. Well, the Tyranids, you've got technological parity with the Imperial Guard, haven't you? This is your tier 3 / well, tier 2 / 3, because you've got 3 nubduals coming up your Hive Spire. If I'm not mistaken, that's how you remember it. 3 spires for tier 3 / 4. However the blooming Ultimate Apocalypse people do their tiers. Always very confusing. But Jesus, coming around the flanks. And they got plenty of lads to come on in. And the Power Fist seems to be sorting them out fairly nicely. Victor Alpha looking to munch on that Primaris Psyker once again. Really good focus and micro with this Lictor Alpha, actually. Not sure if he got a fresh one because he's back to full health, but we'll take it. One single squad of Gene Stealers has been scared away by the chaps and chapettes of the guardsmen. And so far so good for both sides, really. The Imperial Guard have got no vehicle building on the go at the moment. Don't really have the economy to kind of transition over to vehicles, considering that they've got to pour so much money into reinforcing their men. So that might actually be why the Tyranids are keeping on top of them, just to make sure that they can't actually get the vehicles out. There's so much being done with so little from the tyrannic perspective. One singular tank and surrounded by all sorts of gibbly bugness. It's not really getting the kills it wants to. Not if everything being spread out much like this. Would it make sense to have a couple of turrets up here, maybe? Or at least, I mean, the main problem that you got at the moment is the Gene Stealers slapping you in the face, but a few lads up here firing down where the Gene Stealers can't get you. That might be the positioning that you want, but I would then force you on the back foot by playing defensively. Push on to the right-hand side as a spore chimney is being built on the left. Seems like the Imperial Guardsmen are swapping out into plasma guns for the moment.
We were fools to think you could overcome this.
Although, where is your anti-vehicle stuff then? Is that why you're struggling with the Screamer Killers? This person on the right side has been standing so strong for so long, but it's finally been brought down. Guardsmen have now been squad capped. They get a couple of Psykers and a Priest, so relying a lot on their mini-heroes at the moment. They soon will be anyway. I'm just perplexed as to why that mechanised commander's not being rebuilt. We've now got a surplus of green money that should surely be able to afford a few more. I mean, a couple of Sentinels with missile launchers wouldn't go amiss against these Carnifexes, if you can keep them away, obviously. Gene Stealers are about to get squad wiped potentially. And also reinforce 80 blue and 20 green. Do you have the money to reinforce? You do, actually. So Tyranids can just keep pushing on. Even must keep the distance while the Tech Priest Engineers attempt to keep them repaired. Doom being witnessed from some distant psyker. These guys just holding the line. Flurry of plasma guns and las rifles from the Cassicans. The increased firing rate from the hotshot las cannons, or las guns even, making all the difference. And so much of their base has been bamboozled, but they stand for now. It seems that on the back of that assault, I've got so much money saved up, but nothing in the way of infantry. I've got the manipulator hive. More gene sealers coming out. Which money you got saved up? Not much. Not much at all. Another Primaris Psycho is on the way. But the assault just... they don't care whatsoever. They know that they've got a limited time before the Tyranids are able to basically outmatch them. Just purely based on numbers and economy. So they've got to strike hard and strike decisive. The Tyranids are deciding to, rather than buy an excessively large amount of army, they're going to... yeah, so second harvest spire, more reclamation pools, and more green money. Is this the wrong time to expand economically? Should you not just come in and get the killing blow? Mechanized command is being rebuilt. Oh, this is looking like a potential turnaround. Comes our cadets. No fear whatsoever. Looking to slap down that spore chimney. Also got the priest in their ranks to keep them immortal for a little while. As these guys come down. And don't get me wrong, like a hive spire is a heavily fortified structure, so much damage is required to break it down. But actually, I take it back. Little guys apparently just say, no thank you, we don't want this structure here. Please leave us alone. Nothing coming from the manipulator hive. What else are you building then, man? Biovores. More gene stealers. Going for strengthening toxic miasma. Oh, right, okay, you're just going to go for all the upgrades now. Okay, right. So rather than going for any individual huge units, you're getting all the upgrades so that your general armies can be a lot better. And yeah, those Biovores, great morale, AoE damage. Also damage over time by the looks of it. Oh, that's going to be a tricky situation to fight your way out of with an infantry-heavy composition. And unlike other factions, you know what I mean? Quite a few factions can just, like, jump or teleport people around the flanks and start damaging artillery, but the Imperial Guard have a severe lack of that. In the late game, they can, of course, drop literal Bane Blades around the flanks, but or airborne Cassicans and such, but I don't think TheBlastFurnace has the economy or attack for that. But a nice use of the tank traps. To stick up a Basilisk, so answering artillery with artillery of your own. But then do definitely need to defend it. Although Screamer Killers will see it. Say, right, well, your ass is grass now. And just a few little stabs. The Screamer Killer will get it. The Hive Tyrant as well. As the Commissar Cadets attempt to spank the Biovores as best they can. Biovores not really built for close combat. Basically bonking them with their little nodules. But somehow, some way, Basilisk, either you survived or you died, but then they replaced them. The Screamer Killers are falling back just to keep their Biovores alive. Yeah, kind of need to make sure that your units are working in unison. Plenty of Gene Stealers to form that front line. Well, there we go, get on the ridge. Then you can fire uncontested. Look at our Lictor Alpha. And at the moment, a couple of guys spread around in three little groups. One volley from the Biovores breaking morale. But the Cassicans giving some Inferno grenades where it counts. And the health regen that the priests give the Commissar cadets is actually keeping them alive a lot longer than normal, which is, you know, quite considerable thing. Look at the speed on these boys now. Becoming indomitable with each adaptation. For the Imperium of Man, the guardsmen scream. That's okay. The Gene Stealers now held them off into the base. Time to come back and finish the job. And once map control is re-established, maybe they could attack a little bit more efficiently. Psycho over here, surviving on 12 HP. What is Gene Stealers on the left doing? Just chilling, I suppose. There we go. Oh, they're gonna let him live. Oh, because he died from the Bioboss. Okay, alright. God, that was confusing. My brain turned a bit fuzzy-wuzzy for a second then. Well, the Tyranids still have plenty of economy. And they could buy more things if they wanted to. Reclamation pools, I assume you've got some Ripper Swarms inside it for deep striking. What is the economy for the Imperial Guard? Right, you've bounced back. You're fine for the moment. Now we're going to build up a field command to see if you can get your green money on par with your blue. Once that happens, well, the Tyranids' gooses are rather cooked. As they're just not really spending all their money. I mean, what's your squad cap at the moment? You've got plenty more room for all sorts of things. Oh wait, oh, you've got... Right, you're taking up. Okay. Fair enough. Was never a bad idea. It looks like they've got all your upgrades, or at least the vast majority of your upgrades. Now a field command occupying one of their entrances and a bunch of tank shops occupying the other. It's going to require a lot of bashing to get through. Lehman Russ is a bit cornered there. Can they get him? General also goes down as well. Yeah, I don't think Lehman Russ can actually get out of there. There he goes. He's fought really hard for so long, but finally been taken down. How many lads have you got inside your field command at the moment? 3 lads, could have some more. Tech Priest NUC is trying to repair it. Never underestimate how much damage a field command can do when it's got all the lads inside. It's able to fire at multiple different targets any one given time, depending on what angle they're at. Basilisks are being focused down by the Hive Tyrant. Lictor Alpha also doing the same. Does seem like Screamer Killers are just tanking all the damage. And with a Tech Priest Agency repairing it, Field Command will eventually win this, but none of such of those things will be a problem. Briefly summoning a assassin there, did TheBlastFurnace. Did you put him inside the field command, I wonder? I mean, the commander will die. Tyranid Hive Tyrant just falling flat on his face. As the Screamer Killers are slowly but surely whittled away. Even with only a fraction of their fighting potential, just hiding inside buildings is definitely the tactic. Tried and true, never fails. Always a successful tactic. No matter what you do in the end. We'll need another infantry command if they want to get these Cassicans out. Do you have any more builders? Don't think our builders are exclusively inside the field command. Look how quickly they're able to repair that. And that's just 2 of them. So they jump out for a little bit before then getting inside and firing again. Give them the old switcheroony. Nice inside the middle. Still those Commissar cadets. It seems like the Tyranids are attempting to just ignore them politely. See if they can break down the field command. But it's just not going down. Just one singular lad making sure that this building isn't going down. Looks like he's almost trying to repair the Screamer Killer then. That's not how Tyranids work, I'm afraid. Well, if each swipe of these power fists, the Gene Stealers seem to be falling. What a desperate battle. This whole entire game has been, really. The Biovores. What are you... Where's the rest of your fight? Oh, your army, even. There's some Zodthrops. Titans are buildings, that's their mainstay. Some more Gene Stealers. And some spiked carapaces. Now, if I'm not mistaken, hold on, let me just double check. Is it this one that does damage to people when they're nearby? Oh no, just overall armor and health. Fair enough. I thought that was the upgrade where it does damage to people when you're nearby them. So that'll be a really useful ability against the Massacasicans and all their medics and priests and such. So they're able to wombo combo the field medic and the priest as well, so double the health regen, more or less. Making them nigh on indestructible. There's a zone throw. Or 2 zone throws even, plural. And this is what we want to see much earlier, really. Although I do appreciate that a lot of Tyranid players, they will just go for the zone throw ball straight away. Roman 228 showing some restraint. As you can see, the AoE knockback and the range that these guys have. Tyranids in the early game do struggle with presenting up a powerful firing line, but once they get going, and the massive infantry might really struggle against these guys. Now that they've got the firepower, there's a whole host of more Tyranids. And what are you getting from the Hive Spire? Oh, well, we'll never know. We'll never know. Oops, absolutely. Now he's spending absolutely all of his money completely. Lovely to see. You can see this coming for a push, but now they're coming in from all different angles now. That's a terrifying sight if I've ever did seen one. This is quite a deadly unit composition now. Tyranid, the Gene Stealers have now got their infiltration, so that will prevent the Imperial Guard from firing at them on the approach. Yeah, the Steelers just snowballing now. They're reaching the critical mass, their full potential, if you will. This additional firepower. What more can the Guardsmen do? We've got the money, but now have you got the power? Every weapon support team done if this is the right choice. You won't be able to fire at them until they get too close to you. That's the heavy weapon support team's worst nightmare, really. Of course, you keep the priests out and about. Oh dear, look at them. This is not what they were taught in military training. The listening posts have been upgraded. And they hold the line. Zodthrops blasting things. Blasting his furnace, if you will.
We shall not break again.
Yeah, the knockback is just too deadly. Just witness the sheer amount of corpses around the Imperial Guard base. Shows where absolutely the vast majority of all the fighting's been going on. Just an absolute carpet of poor lads and Tyranids being brought down. Yeah, what a really fun game that was. Very nice defensive display from the Imperial Guard. I think the Tyranids just being constantly aggressive, kind of preventing them from really getting that amount of tanks that they really wanted to get. Screamer Killers slapping down those Chimeras. Would have loved to have seen some more Lehman Russes, but I think those Commissar Cadets and the Cascans, although expensive and forcing the TheBlastFurnace to not really, be able to buy or afford bigger and better tanks, I think it was kind of like it was forced into that unit composition just to keep the Tyranids away. The Tyranids were just laughing all the way home with their economy, unmolested really, apart from the occasional time when the cadets came down and slapped some stuff down. But yeah, that was the game. So cheers to the TheBlastFurnace to send this game into Discord. And cheers to PlaySport for sponsoring the channel. And if you want to support the channel, have a look at the old Patreon. £1 a month gets you one game a week, and there's also Discord where Discord things happen. Links in the description as always. As been Mr. Landshark, pleasure's always never short. Now, see you in a bit. Peace.